All right. Hello, everybody. Let me get the music there. Anyway, how you guys doing tonight? Hope that you're doing well on this Thursday. It is December the 4th, what I like to call Little Friday. And I'm Chris Allen. This is 270 weather for the 270 area code and beyond. All right, we've got some precipitation moving in. And I say precipitation because, well, we've got a little variety of things going on, which I'll show you right now. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to waste any time on anything else. We'll go right to this because it's happening right now. This is a current look at radar. And here at 6:08 p.m. on this Thursday, December 4th, there you see the action. I'm going to put it into motion here so you can see how all this is moving. You can see the areas that are under the winter weather advisory through 6 a.m. tomorrow. That is going to continue to be the case as it's a situation where you've got most of this area, say, from Dover, Tennessee through Russellville, maybe Bowling Green, Greensburg, Campbellsville, anything east or southeast of that line is where the better setup for precipitation is going to be. And as you can see in some places like down around Hendersonville and Lafayette, Salina, Hartsville, Tennessee, that is in the form of sleet mixing with rain. Now the algorithm with the radar is detecting that much of what's over south central Kentucky from Bowling Green southeast is in the form of snow. Now it may not be falling to the ground necessarily. And the reason I say that is because dew points are still fairly low near the ground, which means the atmosphere has not saturated that much altogether from top to bottom. Near the bottom, we're still pretty dry here at the surface. So we have a temperature, we can check this, temperature is at 34. Is that cold enough to snow? Yeah. If the moisture is deep enough, but how dry is it near the surface? Well, I can look at that. We go to the METARs. Let me go to that, and let's go to dew point. So the temperature is 34. Let's see what the dew points are. 28. See, now here's another little lesson for you. Dew point depressions. In other words, you've got a temperature at 34, but your dew point is at 28. The closer those two numbers are together, the better likelihood that you're going to get precipitation to reach the ground. So you got 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. We're talking a 6-degree difference between the air temperature and the dew point temperature. That's a dew point depression of 6 degrees. So at this point, and when I was just looking outside, it was not snowing, but according to radar, it should be snowing pretty good. So this is why, again, I don't get so worked up about these systems, because this one is limited on moisture. There's a lot of dry air near the ground to overcome. Now, I would say once you get, say, more into the southeastern corner of Kentucky, the Cumberland Plateau, over toward Russell County, maybe Wayne County, Pulaski County, Somerset, then over toward London, Corbin, Barberville, those places. Now, as we get into the night and the moisture becomes a little more concentrated and the atmosphere becomes a little bit more saturated, then I would say these or this is the area in which you're more likely to pick up, maybe an inch of snow. But for Bowling Green here and right around the I-65 corridor, probably not. If you do get a little bit more saturated air all the way down to the ground and you overcome the dry dew points, then I still think the most that we could see would be a dusting. Kind of like what happened the other day. I don't think it's going to be any bigger deal than that. It's just not in the cards. It's just not going to happen. And you can see that once you get into, say, almost to Nashville, then everything is rain south of that. Here's another thing also to keep in mind when you're looking at radar imagery, and let me go to a live radar. Here we go. So this is live radar out of Nashville. It's not going to show you what's what. But as I've explained here before, it's all moisture. This has the look of, yeah, maybe some snow. But notice that it's just kind of faint here over the Bowling Green area, much of our southern Kentucky area. Not until you get further, say, south and east, this is a little more concentrated moisture. But here's also something else to keep in mind, and I've told you this many times. Here is the radar site out of Nashville. It sits at Old Hickory Lake, just outside of Hendersonville, in between Hendersonville and Lebanon at Old Hickory Lake. So when the radar beam goes up, it's going through a lot of moisture in all directions, and it can only see, especially when the moisture is like this, it sometimes overshoots. The beam goes up like this, but the earth is curved. So what happens when you start to get further away from the Doppler radar site? You start to lose what's near the ground. So this is mostly just picking up probably some moisture. Probably, I would say not all of it is reaching the ground, but somewhere in this general area and on into eastern Kentucky, that's where the better setup for moisture is going to be. We'll just continue to watch and see how that plays out through the night. We'll check the weather camera up in Litchfield. Let me get rid of this here. Scoot that over. Let's see what's going on there. Litchfield, Grayson County, you still have some of the moisture left on the ground from the other day. It's 32 degrees, so you're right on the freezing mark, but I don't think there's anything falling there in Grayson County. We go down toward Nashville, Bellevue area, Fairview, and you can see there's raindrops. Yeah, see that? Rain is falling. Most of that is rain. But look, the temperature's 32 there as well. So it's rain, but there could be maybe some sleet or even a snowflake mixed in. But most of what's happening in Nashville is rain. Here's a camera over in Dixon, Tennessee. And that's looking kind of foggy and rainy. See, if it were more of a snow situation, and it's 32 degrees there too, I just don't see it gathering on the roof here, whatever that is, a bank or whatever in Dixon. Just not a lot of ground truth that there's really any snow falling anywhere. There may be, and some of you may be maybe seeing a little something. Some of you are probably seeing maybe flurries. Um, well, okay, let's check here. Erica, snow in Tompkinsville. Okay. I would say that verifies. Here are, what's that? Heart of Gold, 79. Flurries in Glasgow. Okay. So these are real time reports, you guys. Junice Blair, waving hi. Hi, Junice. Thanks for tuning in this evening. Let's go. I'm excited. Where's the snow, Chris Allen? Well, it's out there. I don't know where you live, but you're going to get a little bit, maybe. Just a light dusting, I would say, if you live in Bowling Green. Chad Hagens, there's a coat of snow on the cars over by Bowling Green High School. Well, all right. So, we're going to let's see, Barbara, snowing in southern Cumberland County. That's in that area that I highlighted is most likely to see half inch to an inch of snow tonight. Let's see who else here. Melody, snowing in Auburn. It's not really doing anything here at the airport yet. There, it may be now, just flurries. Here's Maria, snowing in Edmonton. Thank you, Marie. Um, Eddie Fisher, the Eddie Fisher, the entertainer. I know. Dusting on the vehicles here in Cave Spring area on Gasper River. Oh, hey, Chris. LOL. Well, LOL back to you. Snowing in Russell Springs, Missy George. All right. Thank you for that report. Flurries in Edmonson County from A. Marie Sullivan. Chad, Chad, this is what I was talking about when we were looking at that live camera shot from Dixon, Tennessee. He says it's almost like a fog of snow rather than falling snow off Campbell Lane. That would be here in Bowling Green. So you know what? Yeah, I'm just looking out my window, which is kind of hard to see. I'm still looking at putting up a camera here so you can see, because I'm right here at the airport, Bowling Green Airport. And when I look out, I don't see that much of anything. So, I mean, it may be snowing in a few places, but I don't see it much happening here yet. Snowing in Monroe County, according to Jonathan McClendon. Carson Huff got snow in Gamale, down there on the Tennessee border. Wanda, snow in Glasgow. Well, look at y'all. Y'all just look at all these live reports. I wish I could get live reports like this when I'm doing television weather, but I can't get them like that. See, I'm not sitting in a setting like this with the kind of software like this where I can just get real-time reports. I love this, what you guys are doing. Luann, light flurries in Columbia. That's up in Adair County. Jessica says it's snowing good at Sky Pack in Bowling Green. Well, good. Look at y'all giving me these reports. I love it. Here's Frida, snowing in Scottsville. Let's see here. Summer Shade, Montana, snowing in Summer Shade. All right. All right. Well, they just keep coming. Now, see, here's one. Here's Mandy, also in Glasgow. She says it's raining. Now, this brings up a good point. What I was just saying, it all depends on the thermal profile from top to bottom, from 5,000 feet up all the way down to the ground. You can have different temperatures at different levels from top to bottom, and it may not be completely saturated from the top all the way down to the bottom. And in some cases where the temperature may be a little bit warmer, say 1,000 feet up or whatever, just before you get to the ground, there could be this little thin layer of warm air that causes whatever snowflakes that are falling to melt or to change to rain. So that may be what you're seeing there in Glasgow in some cases, because others are saying it's snowing in Glasgow, Stephanie. So see, you get different things. Um, Here's Tambra, snowing in Nobob. Do you know Bob? In Nobob? Nobob lives in Nobob, Kentucky. Yeah, I know Bob in Nobob. It's also snowing in Clinton County, according to Joyce. Thank you. Stephanie, my roof is white, just south of Scottsville. All right. Well, they keep coming in, so thank y'all. Chad, it's falling snow down my section of Bowling Green. And it's snowing in Summer Shade, according to Susan. Okay. We need to move on, but you get the idea. This is all. Let me go back to the composite radar and change it to precipitation type. And so this is all pretty much verifying that we're seeing. But at times, even though all of this is painted in blue for snow, there will be times when you get just rain or sleet or a mix. But this is, as you can tell here, it's all pretty much over to the west of us. So all of this energy is pushing east. And for the Bowling Green area, what you're seeing right now is about as much as you're going to get. And then progressively through the next few hours and through the night, it's all gone. Not going to linger. All right. Enough of that. Thank you for your reports, and I'll go through a few more if there's time at the end here. Let's take a look at how the numbers added up for us today. Temperatures, as far as highs, were around freezing, and that was it. Maybe mid-30s for some. Temperatures right now are holding right there. And we're in that sweet spot, 32, 33, 31. If you want snow, the temperature at least is at the right place. How cold was it for today? Minimum temperature, upper 20s to low 30s. That happened, of course, this morning. As far as precipitation, we're just now starting to get that. And so that's what's showing up down here near the Tennessee border, 500s, 600s. This would be the water equivalent. If you were to melt any of that snow down to water, this is how much it would be. But translation is, and this may be not be a 10-to-1 ratio on snow. In other words, to get an inch of snow, you would need a tenth of an inch of water, frozen water. The ratios may be a little different than that, just because it's a kind of a wet snow. The snow's kind of wet. So it's melting. Most of it's melting on contact, except for rooftops and car tops. I think when you wake up in the morning, yes, it will be cold enough so that whatever falls this evening could still be there, but a lot of it's going to go away because tomorrow we're going to get into the low 40s. Here's a look at the winds currently, and you can see they're pretty much from the north or northeast at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. There are some breezier winds to our west at, say, 10 to 15. All right, let's go to the maps and see what else is going to go on, not just right now, but what's going to come. Here's our little system that's coming through right now, showing pretty much what I just showed you. Bowling Green to the east with that chance of snow that we're getting right now, light snow, and then at times even a little bit of a mix, and then over to rain further south. Now, as we get into the midnight hour, here's Bowling Green. Notice all of this now gets east of us. Little bit of a snow, light snow, a dusting, a coating. But then once you get over to, say, London, Corbin, Pikeville, eastern Kentucky, that's where maybe an inch of snow is going to accumulate. South of the Tennessee or Kentucky Tennessee border, it's a mixed bag of sleet, freezing rain, and then to all rain, mostly south of Nashville over to Knoxville along Interstate 40. So whatever happens is not going to amount to that much, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it's a kind of it's a fast moving system. So it's not going to hang in here and just, put down a big thing of snow. Now, according to this and the Nashville forecast office, the Louisville forecast office, they both agree that there's going to be some fog early tomorrow. And with the temperature getting down into the mid 20s for an overnight low tonight, you know what that means? Freezing fog. You're correct. The last couple of mornings we've gotten by without that. But considering this system that's passing through right now with the moisture, we could have some freezing fog tomorrow morning that will cause an icy spot. Not so much because of snow, not because of sleet or freezing rain, but just the fog. Here is noon tomorrow for your Friday. We'll start with clouds, but as we go through the day, we should begin to see a lot of those clouds clearing away. And yes, there are some Christmas parades tomorrow evening. One in particular that I'm going to be at is Smith's Grove. And here's your weather. There's nothing going on. And temperatures should be pretty much in the 30s by 6 o'clock tomorrow evening as we get ready for the Smith's Grove parade. Now, here's 6 a.m. Saturday as we get ready for a full day of Christmas parades all over the place. Bowling Green will start at 9:30, and then the bigger one is the Glasgow Parade at 6:30 Saturday evening. So here you see Saturday morning, maybe a little patchy fog, but otherwise we're going to see a mainly cloudy to partly sunny day. But here is 6 p.m. Saturday evening as the Glasgow Parade is about to start. Nothing going on. I think all of us will be able to get our parades in without weather being an issue. Yes, it's going to be chilly, but it's December. It's parade time, and this is typically the kind of weather we have. Now, I can remember 2 years ago, it was raining in Glasgow. It was terrible. It was such a chilly rain. It was terrible. Ugh. I think I'm still shivering over that one. It just kind of sunk down in your bones, and my feet were wet. It was just not a good. I mean, it was fun. The parade's always fun, but it was just uncomfortable. But anyway, I think we're good. All day Saturday evening. Now, late Saturday night into early Sunday, you can see this cold front way back here in Missouri. That's going to come in close to midnight or after. Here's 6 a.m. Sunday morning, and it's rain. Now, why is it rain? Well, because we're going to be underneath a warmer sector of air with this next system that's coming in. So the front stays kind of along the Ohio River and really doesn't move that much. Here's our low pressure system over Arkansas. So most of what it just reset on me. There we go. Most of what we see is going to be rain. This was the system that I thought at first the position of the low pressure system was more in the middle Tennessee. And with it there, then it was going to be able to draw in more cold air. And it looked like it was going to set up for what appeared to be at first. If there was going to be a more of a significant snow, then I was looking at Sunday for that to happen. But now that the low is further north, or will be further north, then we're going to see mostly rain. So here is 6 a.m. Monday. All of that's gone. Now, some of it may change over or mix into eastern Kentucky as it leaves. And there could be even a few places here which you can't see the details between 6 a.m. Sunday and 6 a.m. Monday. But in between that, as it leaves and cold air comes in before the moisture leaves, then yes, some of that rain could mix over to sleet or some snow before it gets out of here. But here's Tuesday, here's Wednesday, yet another system comes in. This one, as you can see, all rain. And then into next Thursday, as that system departs, here again, we get another change of temperature, and whatever moisture's out there, rain, maybe changing to or mixing with some sleet, and then snow further north into Indiana and Ohio. So that's that system that we're looking at that's next. All right. I'm going to check some more of your messages here in a moment. So hang on. I know a lot of you have just checked in. So we'll get to that in just a second. Let me go to this map. This is the European model, which is going to become, I know it's European. You may be saying, why can't we use an American model made in America? Well, some of the modeling that started in another country that proves to be a little more accurate, there's just what it is. But the European models really are a little more accurate in this case, especially during the cold season months. They have a pretty good handle on things. And here's the current setup. As you can see, there's your snow, and then the rain, and then the mix, and all of that moving out very quickly overnight tonight. The rain snow line right there, just kind of right through the middle of Kentucky. And there's that fence. Remember me saying we're always on the fence. It's either you have or have not, and we're right there on it. Here we go into Friday, Saturday. Here we are, Saturday, beautiful day. Mix of sunshine and clouds, but no precipitation. Here comes the organization of the next system. You can see it here, another piece of energy falling out of the upper Midwest, coming in as mostly snow. This is Sunday afternoon and evening, but notice again that rain snow line is right there, chopping Kentucky in half from west to east. Therefore, we're most likely to get rain at this point, unless something changes, and the snow would stay to the north. As the system begins to depart, there may be a little snow or sleet mixed in, but that's it. Here we go into Monday of next week, and it's trying to put out something there, maybe just some flurries for Monday. Then here we go into Tuesday, Wednesday, and notice how much warmer it's getting. Look at that rain snow line going way to the north of the Ohio River for the first time in a week and a half or more. Warmer flow here over Kentucky as we get into the middle of next week. And this should allow our temperatures to get back to where they're supposed to be for this time of the year, which is in the 50s, the low 50s. So we're going to get there next week. And then anything that comes in would start as rain and maybe end as rain, but here's another trough, another dip in that freezing line and the rain snow line on Thursday of next week, a week from today. But that's a long way off. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. All right, before we move on, let me talk to you about R&R Controls and getting a Generac generator, because we're in that time of year when it's very likely that we're going to lose power at some point. I'm trying to lose my voice, and I hope, let me just take a drink here. Kind of wet the whistle, thank you. We're getting into that time of year, and I can tell my sinuses are all, yours probably too, are starting to get all messed up, and then the drainage and all of that, and then it tries to get in your throat, and then you have trouble talking or you have trouble breathing or whatever. Yeah, it's just that way. What you need is to make sure you've got proper heating and ventilation, heating and cooling, ventilation, all of that, which R&R Controls can take care of, as you know. They are the experts, 40 years worth of expertise in heating and cooling and ventilation, automation, and Generac generators. Call R&R Controls at 270-777-2024, or you can hit them up on their website right there, rnrhvac.com. They also have another website, rnrcontrols.com. You hit them up, just make sure you put the R and R in there, and you can leave them a message on their website. Hey, give me a call. I'd like to set up an appointment, come out to my house. I want to talk to you about generators. I want to talk to you about my heating and cooling system. I want to talk to you about preventative maintenance. These are the things that R&R Controls takes care of on a daily basis, and they are the experts at doing it. 270-777-2024. With R&R Controls, you'll never be without. Let's go on to the next thing on the list here, which is the model blender, showing us the next 10 days. 40s, yes, a warming trend, a little bit more of a warming trend the next couple of days. So whatever falls today or tonight, it's not going to linger. It's not going to last. It'll melt tomorrow morning. And then whatever freezes back over would be, with upper 20s tomorrow night into Saturday morning. But look at Saturday, 46, maybe 47, 48. That will feel like a heat wave. And that's good because we'll be outdoors with those parades. Then near 50 on Sunday, but then we cool back down. Look at that 10-degree drop with the next front coming through on Sunday, 49 to 39. But then we quickly warm back up into the upper 40s. Wednesday still looking at the warmest day out of the next 10 days, in the low 50s. That number right there, 51, that's exactly where we're supposed to be for a high temperature, normal high temperature for this time of the year. But here comes another system on Wednesday. I showed you that trough. Here comes another system which will knock us back down into the upper 30s a week from today, next Thursday, and then back into the 40s. Lows mainly 20s, 30s, all across the board. So yeah, we've got this chilly air that just wants to hang around. And I don't see it changing anytime soon. Maybe there will be those couple of days, as I mentioned here, that's going to get into the upper 40s to around 50, but that's it. All right, let's check some more reports here. Kimmick, snowing in Franklin. Jessica, what time is Smiths Grove Parade? I want to say 6:30 tomorrow night. 6:30. I believe that's right. Um, Michelle, temps ever going to get back to normal? Yes. I showed you at least one day or two next week. They will, but they won't stay there. This is why I keep, when I'm talking about R&R controls and generators and heating, and this is going to be a more active winter. And keep in mind, it's not technically winter yet. This is still fall. So just think when the real winter gets here, which is a few days before Christmas, and then all of January and most of February and a little bit of March. I mean, we still have a long winter to go. And we're just getting a small taste, I think, of what's coming. Here's Taiwana. I hope I said that right. What is freezing fog? It's fog that forms just like when you get up in the morning and you see fog just kind of covering the area and the visibilities are low, but the temperatures are below freezing. And so whatever fog is out there freezes on your windshield, your sidewalks, your pavement, bridges and overpasses. And when that happens, it can cause ice. So fog is just moisture like rain or snow, but it's fog, fine little water molecules, little particles, if you will, and that water just freezes on contact. That's freezing fog. So it's certainly possible. Charles, so are we good for the lighting of the square Friday night in Bowling Green? Yes. You're good to go. Lighting of the square, that's always a big deal here in Bowling Green, and it's tomorrow night, and we're good. The weather's going to be just fine. Here's Helen, snowing in Mount Herman. Thank you, Helen, for that report. Natalie, snowing good in eastern Logan County. So that would be between Russellville and Auburn, somewhere in there. And here's Brittany, snowing in Edmonton, Kentucky. Sorry, that's Metcalfe County. So thank you for that report. Here's another one. Beverly, snowing in Cave City. So yeah, they keep coming. You guys keep bringing up Donna, snowing in Scottsville. And Jerry says the same thing. So Scottsville, you're getting it right now, but guess what? It's not going to last. It's not going to last at all. In fact, it's just about over. I would say before you go to bed tonight, Bowling Green, Glasgow, Tompkinsville, Scottsville, pretty much even Edmonton, before you turn in tonight in the next few hours, this is going to be all over. And by in the morning, it'll be gone. So even though there's that winter weather advisory for some of those counties, and you're getting a little bit of snow right now, and it's pretty and all that kind of stuff, it's not going to last. It's going to be gone very shortly. All right. That's it. You're all caught up. Thank you for watching. As always, don't forget you can send me tips. You can hit super chats. You can do all that kind of stuff in YouTube now. And if you want to do that, I appreciate that. Thank you for your support. That helps support me and what I'm doing. And then I will see you guys in the morning for a Finally Friday on News 40 Sunrise at 6 a.m. And then again, News 40 at 9 and News 40 at noon. Then I'm going to take a short break tomorrow and then see you guys in Smith's Grove at 6:30. I believe that's the time of the parade. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless you.